In this video, I want to share my shoulder pain journey with you because I know a lot of guys, a lot of you who have shoulder problems, and I think you can benefit from this video. And the key takeaway from this video is the 4 words I learned that completely changed my thinking about shoulder pain. And I'll come to those words in a moment. The background is about 15 years ago, I started experiencing shoulder pain and mobility problems that progressively got worse over time. And for sure, the years of heavy weightlifting didn't help matters at all. And of course, I made the mistake of listening to some guys who said, "Peter, you shouldn't lift your arms over your head." And over time, the pain got worse and worse. And I stopped doing overhead presses, and I stopped swimming laps in the pool. And the worst part was sleep disruption. I would wake up in the middle of the night with my shoulder pulsating or throbbing from shoulder pain. And then I had a breakthrough moment earlier this year when I went to a yoga class, and I talked to the yoga teacher after class, and he knew I had shoulder problems because he could see me in class. And he said to me, when we were talking about my shoulder problem, he said, "Peter, think movement, not stretching." And I'm telling you, those words completely changed my shoulder life. And then he went on to talk about the risk of frozen shoulder if I don't start doing some of these movement exercises. So that's what I want to share with you in this video. Now, I want to be the first to say that I'm not a doctor or a physical therapist, but I will say that these movement exercises have totally helped my shoulder situation. I can swim laps in the pool now, I can swim a mile in the pool, and I can do overhead presses. They have been transformational. And these exercises, I consider these movement exercises, came from the yoga teacher I mentioned and from trainers in the gym. And these movement exercises are good for standalone exercises or for warm-up exercises before weightlifting, and that's what I usually use them for. So the first series of movement exercises involve a band like this. And this band is one of the lighter weight bands, exercise bands, when you buy a package of them. And this particular band I got from a local sports shop here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, but you can go onto Amazon and find them. So the first exercise I'm going to show you is simply using the band and going around your shoulders like that. And I normally do this about 15 times. And I do everything I'm going to show you now, I do at least one set of everything. So that's the first one. So I'll do 15 of these going back and forth and really opening up the shoulder. And as you can see, that feels good. And I go as far back as I can in front. And this exercise alone has been tremendous for my shoulder mobility. Okay, so I still have the band here. I tied it onto this post right here, and I've got a towel, a rolled up towel in my hand that I'm going to stick under my arm there, and I'm going to do rotations. And this is great for the shoulder. So first, external rotation, keeping my elbow close to my arm. And so external rotation, and notice how my thumb is pointed out. A lot of trainers tell me to do it that way. And so I'm working this as a rotation. And if I want the tension to be greater, I can step away from the post like this. And I'm just rotating, and I do that about 15 times. And I do that with both arms. So this is an external rotation. Then if I want to do an internal rotation, just put the towel there. The towel, keeping the towel there makes you keep your elbow closer to your body because you want to hold the towel there. And again, I turn my thumb in that direction, and now I'm doing this internal rotation like this. So that's an internal rotation. The first one I showed you was an external, I'm going out, and this one is internal. And I do that 4 ways. So 2 arms, 2 directions, internal and external. So that's internal and external rotation. And now I want to show you what I've learned is called a 90-90 because I'm at a 90 degree here. I move a little closer, and this is where I'm the weakest. But the idea is to come down like this and then go up like that. Down and up. And you can see how I'm doing an external rotation, and I need to stand up straight. 90-90, it's called a 90-90, externally rotating out and down, so my arm is flat like that and up like that. And I do that 15 times. And then I turn and I'll do an internal type of 90-90. And I'm now going down like this. And you can see I'm rotating my arm, keeping my elbow in place, but rotating my forearm down. And that really, really helps my shoulder a lot. So those are some internal and external rotations. And you do those with both arms, and I do about 15 per arm. And then I also do this lateral raise, single arm lateral raise, and working the side of my deltoid there. And these are just simple movement exercises. And I can do all of these now. In the beginning, when I first started this about 8 months ago, I couldn't even do this particular exercise right here because my shoulder hurt too much. Now I know I have a torn labrum, and that's part of life, but these exercises have really helped a lot. So I do 15 on this side with this band, and you can use a heavier band if you want, but I'm just warming up right now. That's all I really want to do. I'm going through the movement exercise. I'm not stretching it, I'm moving it, and that was the point of the yoga teacher, to move it. So this particular movement exercise is what we call window washing. This is one of the exercises the yoga teacher told me about. So I'm putting the towel or something against the wall, and I'm washing the window. I remember when I first started doing these movement exercises, I could not do this, but I'm going all the way up to the top like that, and I do that 15 times. Each arm 15 times. So I do that, and then I turn and do this arm 15 times. So this next movement exercise is one where you are against a wall like this, ideally a flat wall, and I kneel down. My leg that is closest to the wall is the one I'm kneeling on, and it's about movement. So there's two types of rotations with this one. I leave my hand here, and I bring my arm all the way up and all the way back like that, all the way down and all the way up like that. And I do that 15 times. And usually after I've done that 15 times, I'm sweating. I sweat easily, but it's work. You really feel it getting deep in there. Now, if you have bad shoulders, you won't be able to do this right away, but just do what you can. If you can only go this high, do it. Or this high, and you notice how the hand changes, and I keep my face forward in this one. My face is forward, and I'm just rotating. That's a clockwise rotation. And the next one is a thoracic rotation. I'm keeping my hands forward, and I'm watching my thumb all the way back. So I'm stretching that shoulder as much as I can. I'm not that flexible, I'm telling you, but this has helped me a lot. Swimming, weightlifting, etc. So those are two wall rotation exercises, a clockwise one and a thoracic one. The next one I want to show you is a floor movement exercises, and think of it like this. I, Y, T, W, and I'm going to lay on my stomach, and my photographer will take a picture of this. So I'm laying down, and my thumbs are up, my arms are as straight as can be, and again, I don't have a lot of flexibility in my shoulders. I'm working on it, but this is the I position. Head down, thumbs up. So I try to do that 15 times. And then I'm in a Y position 15 times. That was only about 4, but I'm just demonstrating the movement. This is T, and 15 times. And then, of course, there's the W, or so you can play with these movements and do the best you can, do what works for you. But I'm telling you, all those movements have been so helpful. The next one I want to show you is it's a bar hanging movement exercise. Not hanging out at the bar, but bar hanging from a bar. So these are little pads that, these are from a yoga mat actually, and I cut them for little hand grips. You don't have to use them, but they do help. And a bar hanging is simply hanging from a bar, and that really stretches out the shoulder. Now, if you've never done this before, it'll be hard to hold, but I do these pretty regularly, and I can hang easily for a minute. But anyway, that's it. And try changing your hand position, to what's comfortable. There's some bars that, like these bars up here, where your hand grip will be this way, not this way. Try different positions. The next one I want to show you is the shoulder tap, and that's getting into a position of push-up and just tapping your shoulders like that. And the idea is not to move your body too much. And that is really good for shoulder stability, the shoulder joint stability, something I know I have a problem with. And then this one is with a different kind of band, a wider band, but still this is a super lightweight band. And I'm just going to get into a plank position and then do like a plank walk. And another way of doing this is just leaving the feet still and moving the hand out and in, or up, back, left, right. Try doing that about 15 times, and I promise you, you will be out of breath. And then this is a simple overhead press exercise. There's no weight on this. Thankfully now, because of all these movement exercises, I can actually use weight on the bar. I'm doing 20 kilos, so that's what, 45 pounds almost. And so a simple movement of straight over the head. You see, 8 months ago, that was painful for me. It was too hard. But now I've got all this mobility and, up and down, and my shoulders are good. So this exercise is a reverse delt exercise, reverse deltoid, and I do it and I do it facing the floor, and I bring it out to the side with my arms mostly straight, right? And that really helps. Or I turn my hand position this way, so different hand positions. It really depends on how my shoulder's feeling, and if one position hurts, then I change the position of my hand. You can even do it sideways like this with your palms facing forward. And then the other way I do this is with a heavier weight, bending down and just straight up. So it's a somewhat of a row. And that whole series of exercises help my shoulders a lot. Here's another dumbbell exercise. These are light weights. And I'm going to show you a side raise. So I bring my hands like this in this position, and I raise them like this, and then I rotate back. So rotating down, up, and I rotate back. Rotate down, back. And this exercise is a face pull, cable face pull. I have it on lightweight to demonstrate, and it's a matter of pulling the cable to your forehead like that. And I usually put it on a heavier weight, and I do about 15 reps, 10 to 15 reps. The heavier the weight, the fewer the reps. Face pull. And then I often change my hand position because this feels good on my shoulders, and I pull it this way. But typically when you see people doing it, the trainers will tell you to have your hands this way and pull to your face. So those are some exercises I wanted to share with you. I hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching.